The other day I was talking about how the handshake is done, retired, because of the virus and stuff. And anyway, in New Brunswick, as of yesterday, the virus, there's no active cases. She's done. So I went over to my buddy Bart's garage to have a beer, and a couple of his neighbours were there, and he introduced me to one guy across the street, and he extended his hand to shake, and I bowed, and he looked at me like I was a moron, and I bowed again, and he had his hand extended still and looked at me like he was gonna knock me out if I didn't shake his hand. And I said, fuck it, there's no virus. And we shook. It was a good handshake. And then his next door neighbor, Mike the Greek, came over and we shook hands. So I guess I'm shaking hands now, at least in New Brunswick. Now, my goal for Shutdown, my film, in 2020, basically was to get gear to shoot. I need a green screen, mics, lighting, and a camera, a mobile production unit, or MPU as the ghost says, a custom one, which is going to be quite expensive for what I need to do. And I just wanted to shoot like a 2-minute teaser so that prospective partners, I could show them this and give them a feel for what this film would be all about. But everything's being pushed back now. I don't know when I'll be back to work, when I'll be able to get things going. Who knows? Now, best thing that happened to me this weekend was my daughter, and she's 6, and she just learned how, when I got home in the fall from my shutdowns out west, I got her biking without her training wheels, and that was special, because when you're gone for 2, 3, 4 months, you miss a lot of shit. Easters, I miss every Easter except for this year, and that's hard on the head. So to be there with her and teach her how to ride her bike without training wheels, that was special. Now, we got a substantial grade hill on our street, and I hate it when people are walking their bikes up hills. I despise it. I would never do it. It's stubborn. It's OCD in my part. And my daughter she's like me. She's got OCD. And anyway, the last 2 days in a row, she has biked from bottom to top of the hill without stopping, and she's only weighs like 40 pounds, but she won't quit. She won't stop. So I love seeing that. But like I said, I have OCD, that I do crazy things in my head, and it's all about math and numbers. Anyway, as an inspector, it's a positive attribute to have OCD, because you got to have everything in order. Everything's I's dotted, T's crossed, and there's no mistakes that way. But anyway, I got to a point where I was like, what am I gonna do now? Nobody's calling to make this movie happen, and I'm talking to the ghost, and he's like, this is where you got to get on it, and you got to raise money, and you got to make it yourself. And I was never a salesman nor a marketer or anything like that. I never liked talking in front of people. When I went to university, I selected all my courses based on the fact of not having to perform an oral presentation. I didn't like talking in front of people. I would fuck up. My mind goes places. I start counting numbers and doing math in my head, and everything goes sideways. Anyway, I started thinking about what the ghost said, and it made sense. He talked about positive product placement, and what the fuck is that? And he explained it to me, and it's like, okay, so you can achieve funding for your project if you put products or services squeeze them into your material, and they give you some money or whatever. So there's certainly abundance of prospective contractors within the refinery business. I kind of broke them down into tiers, like first tier, second tier, third tier. First tier being like the whales to go after, which in fact would be companies that actually own refineries. And it was premature for me to approach companies about this at the time, because I didn't have a business plan completed. Don't have experience. I'm not partnered up with anybody with experience, but I knew I had to start practicing. So contracting companies to begin with, just to practice pitching. And the first one I went after is this canvas bag company called Cooney's. Anybody in the industry would know Cooney's. You see those bags that you hoist up, and inspectors carry those shoulder strap Cooney's bags. Just a canvas bag, like it's no big deal. But I sent them an email just off their contact us page website with a little blurb, and I worded it and strategically, and lo and behold, an hour later, the owner of Cooney's was calling me and leaving voicemails and emailing me, and he was in. I want to be part of this. Anything you need, any bag to put in this movie, you have it. And I was like, oh, okay. I was a little surprised. It was that quickly I received a response. And then when I said that I was also looking for funding, that's when the line went dead. And that was a learning experience. He basically said nothing further after that. And I knew it was a good learning experience, but I knew like I needed more, especially once I started pitching to larger prospective contractors, which I did get better at, and I'll get to that later on down the road. Now,